Eyes down for the Good morning, folks. Monday, part 2 of the Holbrook countershaft stand. In between heavy traffic and the guys across the road fitting double glazing. Over there. So he's been using a hammer drill, so I have to sort of pick my time. Right. First job is to round these corners off and get that welded onto their square. Second job is to drill the holes and bolt the pulley on, or make the pulley boltable, and then suss out a length of belt, and I think I'll make up some webbing. I'll nip down to Michael's and get some webbing just to mock up a belt to see how it goes. Right, onward. Right, folks. A little plasma cutter. Just like that. Everything's on firm, but not quite. Yeah, I was travelling a bit too fast, but it sliced those off, and that's quite thick stuff. That's about 6 mil, something like that, and it's only a 30 amp, so it's done a job. Right, onward. I'll grind them up and make them look decent. Right, folks, there we go. It's tack it up time. That's a good one. That's a good one. Right, the middle one. Gloves. Gloves. It's getting hot. I need my gloves. I have them. So it's a bit over to this. You know me. And if all of that super chain world is for real, there's nowhere to go, kid. Nice world, that means to the back. That's all, folks. Bit awkward, this. Just a bit tight to get into. Right, that's it. Stuck. That ain't going no place. Right. Clean it up time. Finish with welder for now. Gas off. Job's a good one. And there we are, folks. Swinging frame completed. Next job, drill the holes, get the pulleys mounted. Off we go. Look, folks, got the holes drilled, bolted them on, put the shaft through, and the shaft tightened up. And it's because one of these plumber blocks isn't pivoting properly. And I've just put the bearing in it, put the shaft in, and rubbed it round where it's supposed to swivel, and it's tight there. Right, so I'm just going to ease it a little bit with a flat wheel. Just polish it off with a very worn out flat wheel, and until it frees off. Just a little annoyance. Can you see that? Can you see these high spots here? These bright spots? Maybe you can. Right, I'm going to crack on with it. Right, well that was an annoying delay, but it's freed off beautifully now, and all the bearings swivel okay, and I've greased them up and the grease okay, so happy again. Onward. There we go, folks. That is heavy. That is heavy. Now it's going to go somewhere like that. Let me just put a piece of webbing around there and then I can show you what I mean. It's going to go something like that. If you can just ignore the passing cars and the hammer drills across the road. But that's about how it's going to go, I think. Next job to do is to get a... That actually looks really good. Looking at the alignment on that position looks about really good. So the next thing to do is I need a mechanism to hold that back to there with a lever somewhere, so that I can just pull it forward and release the tension off it to move the bolts across. But that's looking good. And I've just realised I was going to put my lever at this end, and I don't think I can because that's where the drive pulley's going. So I maybe need to rethink that and put it at this side, but that's no big deal. That will be through that way. I just had kittens because I couldn't line the pulleys up. The pulleys didn't line up, and then I thought, just a minute, I can slide this box anywhere I want because it's on T-slots. So I put it back on in the wrong place, hadn't I? But there you go. It's looking good. Let's carry on. But first, a cup of tea and some lunch, seeing as it's now 2:40. And there it is, folks. day one of part 2, and we've got it set up, although we haven't quite got it set up yet because I need a belt, then I need a belt tensioning mechanism, and then once I've got that sussed I need to be able to just adjust this until these pulleys are running parallel. I've had a go at adjusting it and I'm very, very close indeed. Where's my straight edge? I've lost my bloody straight edge now. Oh dear. Oh, it's there. It's the end of the day, isn't it? See, we're not far out there at all. I don't know how much tolerance there is on these things. See, I've put a different pin in, which fits a lot tighter, but ultimately I've got plenty of adjustment on these. I can move those like that to get it spot on, but I don't even know if it needs to be spot on. I would think it would track better if it was spot on. I remember from my apprentice days having to line up motors and pulleys for long flat belts, and it seemed to work very well. These pulleys are crowned as well, so we'll have to wait and see. But that's day 1, folks. That's day 1. Let's crack on and come back tomorrow. Home time. See you tomorrow. Bye now. Afternoon, folks. Tuesday. I've been sitting here cogitating on a belt tensioning and adjustment mechanism. I popped into my friend at Spellgate Industrial this morning and ordered me belt, my drive belt. He's making me a drive belt with a link in it so that I can wrap it around the pulleys and pop a pin in. So that's on order, so that's probably be done by tomorrow. And then I got dragged into mending my daughter's sewing machine, which after several attempts I failed, and I've taken it to my brother's place because most of what he does is sewing and he's a bit of a whiz with sewing machines, so I shall pop down this afternoon and we'll have a look at it. But I've just about sussed what I'm going to do. We're going to have a couple of brackets on here with a pivot in, with a crank there. The crank's going to have a pin in it about here, which will attach a spring and a link to there, and the crank will have a handle on it here, and it will go around to a loose position, and then it will go around and over centre to a tight position. At least that's the plan. So guess what, the next job is to break it all down, take it over to the bench and crack on with it. So that's what I'm going to do. Pivots ready for welding. 2 off. Right, so we're going to weld those up together. We've got a nice piece of round bar that fits to it. I'm going to bolt those through at the back here, and then the pivot will be at this side, so when the crank goes up and hits that, it will have just gone over centre, right, and it will stay there. But when I move the lever that way, it will come round and it will be off centre, and it will loosen this. Let's hope it works. I do hope I haven't welded that to the light cord. Nasty galvanised. Let's get the other one set up. You won't believe the amount of time I spent grinding the galvo off this. I've ground the galvo right off the bottom, and I've ground the galvo completely off this piece. And what's burning is the galvo inside the pipe, which of course can't make the belt. But you have to keep out the galvo smoke, because it gives you galvo flu, which is not pleasant. That's all, folks. Job done. Job done. Cooling time. And there we go, folks. 2 pivot ends like that. They face each other. That makes the crank. That holds the crank together, and we'll have bolts in one of the other holes getting nearer to the pivot to adjust the amount of pull on the over centre mechanism. So there we go. That's it for today, because I've got to go home early and go to the dentist to pick my teeth up, I hope, because I'm operating without top teeth at the moment. You might be able to tell that I'm this big of it. Right, that's it for Tuesday, folks. See you all tomorrow. We'll have this clapped together tomorrow and working. And with any luck, I might be able to pick my belt up tomorrow morning as well. See you later. Afternoon, folks. Wednesday. Richard's just gone. He was a bit reluctant to appear on camera. First job I did this morning was to get it out, welding the washer up, and forgot to film it, but it's out. That's for my kitchen cupboard handles. Second job I did was the start, and now I'm going to continue with the crank. So that goes there, that one goes there, that goes there, and a piece of that goes through there. And what I was thinking of was utilising one of these keys on here, which is a pressing, to lock that into there to make the boss with a handle on, because I've got this. You recognise this piece of steel? This is the one that I found was actually brazed together. I can use that for a boss and put the handle in the side of it after I've made it look nice, not like a piece of horrible beer. Right, we can make it look sort of antique-y. So I'll crack on with this. I'll get this together, right, and then we'll weld up the second one. I've welded up the first one, so that's done. And the idea of this is that we will have that through there, and then we'll have a bolt through there at the top, and we'll have a bolt in one of these other holes, which will give us some adjustment down here, and hooked onto that will be a link and a spring, and the handle will be here, and when you push the handle that way, the spring will pull on this, put tension on it, and then go over centre and lock against that box at the top, right? And when you pull the handle the other way, it will come down, stretch the spring, and then drop, and that will take the tension off that, so that automatically tensions the belt. I'm waiting for the belt. I've ordered the belt from Spellgate in Driffield, Spellgate Industrial, who make flat belts and stock V belts and bearings and everything you can think of in the power transmission field, and I'm hoping it'll be ready today or tomorrow, so then we can get this reassembled. Right, I'm going to crack on with this and get it together. There's a bit of practice here in breaking milling cutters, folks. I've just realised that the easiest way to get this little slot in here is going to be to gash it out with the milling machine. So in we go. So far, so good. say it's hard, this piece of metal, but it's tough. It marks with a file, but not mega easily. But it's cutting very well. I'm using this because I don't want tools flying all over the place. I've got tools in this machine, but that's what I'm doing. Very nice. Going well. I hope you can see what's going on there and not just see my shoulder. think that. Well, there you go. Let's have a look. Yep. That looks like it to me. That looks like plenty deep enough. Right, there we go, folks. A little bit of milling in the night. There we are, folks. A keyway it'll do. And there we go, folks. A beautiful fitting keyway, if I can. There we are. Job's a good one. Next job, make this look something like, or I might actually just, yeah, I'll make that look something like next. So into the lathe, let's turn that, see if we can get it to look a bit antique-y and half decent. Off we go. Right folks, it's another edition of Sketchy Setups R Us. Piece of tube. Both ends turned in the lathe to be parallel. Fits over the centre, revolving centre. Here we have our round bar with the key inserted into the collar, which only goes so far through. Round bar on there, that's on there, lock that up, tighten that up, and there we have a collar, not very well held on, come on, grip it. There we go. That holds the collar against the keyway, which only goes part way through. So now we can turn the whole outer face without being restricted. Let's see how it goes. Let's see if it's a massive copy. I've ground the worst of the projection off with the angle grinder because the piece was sticking out. We're almost touching it. And there we go. It works. Small cuts, but it works. Let's take 5 thou off, 10 thou off the diameter. Said, this stuff is not particularly hard, but it's tough. It turned alright, I've just put 2 bevels on it and it turned okay. But it's not soft, put it like that. Let's just have a bit of lube on it. If that makes a difference. None whatsoever. We should be getting down to bad chatter, that's flexing. Let's just move a bit nearer the chuck. Let's move a bit nearer the chuck. That should make a difference. See how that goes. Much better. Much better. You're going to have a sketchy setup. No point in trying to push the envelope. Much better. Particularly hard there. With a 5/10 off the diameter. I might be being too ticklish here, I might be not putting a heavy enough cut on, but I'm not going right. It's supposed to be harder towards this edge. I hope you can see that. Right, number 5. We're almost cleaning up. It does appear to be getting softer as we go into it. Cutting with the back edge of the tool, you should never do. This is deflection cut. How we doing? Almost there, folks. Almost there. And not a bad finish. It's strike match, but it's not coarse strike match. Right, let's carry on. You're bored now, are you? You don't want to see any more of me turning. Right folks, well that'll do for me. I'm not going to bother doing anything fancy on there because it's a bit like turning hard chewing gum. I'll just give it a polish up and we'll call that done. Right? That's an old piece of scrap that it's a piece of mysterium, you know, you don't know what metal it is. It's been brazed up, it's a brazement, and I was going to use it for something else and scrapped it, but now I've used it for this. There's the key in there, so that works well. There's the braze. I'll put a set screw through there just to hold it in place. Maybe put a fancy boss on that end or something. But that's by the by. Right, that's that job done. Just clean this face up. Well, that's it for today, folks. The time has beaten us again. Mind you, we have been up on roofs measuring up for a not replacement foundry roof, but an over foundry roof, just to make sure we don't get any more of those nasty leaks. Right, so here we are. This side's completed, that's measured. That'll be something like that. This side I've yet to cut this bar down to the correct length, so the next job to do I think is to clamp these on with mole grips, mock it all up and see where we want to be. Yes, that's the next job. Then I can cut this to length, weld this piece on, and then we can clamp it up and start assembling. A couple of bolts through there, job's a good one. Right. Okay, see you all tomorrow. Bye now. Morning folks, Thursday. Well, Richard came yesterday and he brought me a central heating pump which is seized up, but I shall sort it, never fear. Right, the next job on here is to get 2 bolts, bolt this together, assemble that onto the frame with a pair of mole grips, and then calculate the length for this piece of rod, cut it off and get it welded into there. So onwards we go. Let's get it done. Lathe cam 2, folks, the Colchester. I've just decided that this piece of spare steel that we cut off is exactly the right distance between the cranks, so I'm going to bore this out. I've got no small tube, so I'm going to bore this out to just over 1/4, put a bolt through it, and that'll make the top pin. I'll probably need a thinner one for the bottom one, but I just thought now I've set the head up on this lathe and got it straight with the bed again, I just thought I'd test it and see how it's cutting. Oh, amazing, beautiful, beautiful. Right, there we go, centre in. And I made a bit of a discovery. You know, when you look in a box you haven't looked in for a long time and you find something you didn't know you had. Well, I found a large number of small Morse taper drills, and I didn't know I had them. But I'm going to try them. They look very sharp, they look like they've been well maintained, and see how they drill. Okay, off we go. There's absolutely no mistake, that's in the centre. Not a twitch. To answer how they drill, the answer is very well. Oh, what a difference. What a difference to this machine. I like this chuck as well, even though it is a little bit out. Well, as I was explaining before, it depends entirely on what diameter you're gripping as to how accurate it is. But it's much more the correct size for this lathe. The other one, the other 3-jaw, is a very nice 3-jaw. It's got reversible jaws on it with the Allen screws. So you can take the jaws off and swap them around. But this one's more than, this is the correct size 3-jaw chuck for the lathe. That's cutting beautiful. Cutting beautiful. So much better than holding and drilling a chuck, and as I say, I didn't know I had these. I didn't know I had any under ½ inch Morse taper drill bits, and I've got a whole set of them, which means I have to now make a board with holes in to come on the wall. It should be fun. Well, I'm pleased with that, because I'm more or less, it was only a week or so ago that I lined this up, and I more or less stopped using this lathe because it wasn't concentric with the tailstock, and I knew it was the head alignment that was out, the headstock alignment that was out, because of course I'd stripped it all down and rebuilt the thing, partly to paint it and partly to sort out lots of niggling little faults with it, which are now more or less sorted. I think It's got its foibles, it's an old lathe. It doesn't particularly like parting off, whereas the countershaft laughs at parting off, although I don't. Got it? We're through. It does very well. I even got its brake working. Right, onward. Am I being too finicky? Possibly, but that's not bad, is it? That's a good. That runs well. That'll do. So that will go down to there and free the spring, and then it will swing up to there, go over centre, and the spring will be pulling higher than the centre, and so it will lock there. So I can't really set the spring length until I get my belt made up and put it back on the machine. But in the meantime, I can get the holes drilled and get this set, and then make the arm for here, and put a set screw in there as well, I think. So I'll crack on with that. Oh, I need to clean this end up as well, and drill for a split pin there. Drill for a split pin or a roll pin or something, probably a split pin. Keep it period. And we'll get an arm in there as well. So if that's the vertical position. Yeah, that'll probably be good. And there it'll be out of the way, won't it? Maybe come around here a little bit. Yeah, we'll see. Right, I'll crack on with it. There it is, folks. I've cleaned up this end of the shaft, drilled a hole for a split pin. I'm going to put a shim and a little spring on there to keep it under tension. The same at this side, a shim to keep it under tension. That'll be released, and that'll be tension on, and it will hold itself in position by the over centre spring. So, quite pleased with that. Unfortunately, that's as far as I've got, because I've had a visitor again, and I was just about to start drilling this when he arrived. So I've been nattering. Now this is that's actually a suspension spring off a washing machine. It would be the ideal sort of thing, but I have a feeling it could be too strong. So I've also got, I was going to use this as well, but I would need to use that and a spring, and to be honest I think it's too long. So I think I'm just going to make a linkage up. But that's it for today. So see you all tomorrow. Bye now. Morning folks, Friday. Got all this set up and bolted up yesterday. That works nicely. Just got ready for drilling that and tapping it for a nice square headed set screw. And then I thought I can also cut the shaft off, drill the end, which will be awkward, but I'll do it, and put a set stud in there, and then put some sort of washer plate on there, which will look nice. Right, and I was just about to crack on with that when somebody arrived and I got broken off. So today we've got a little side project. It's a get her out and then drill through that and Loctite a piece of thread into it, and also find some little screws like that just for a telescope. So I'll crack on with that, but first I'm going to have a cup of tea because it's 12:25 and I've only just got here because I've been taking stuff to the charity shop and picking up bits of furniture and all sorts. Never mind. Right folks, I'm just going to run the lathe in reverse and see if I can get this to turn, because
it's loose. It might just start to turn if I can just push something against it like that. No, it won't. No. Never mind. It was worth a try. Right. Stage 2. Right, I've got a hole in the end. I'm just going to tap an Allen key in. Let's see if that's got enough. Yes. Yes, that has got enough grip to get it out. Lovely. Much rather knock an Allen key in than try and use an easy out, because the easy outs, as many people have said, the conical easy outs tend to swell the thread inside the hole and jam it even tighter. Anyway, that's part 1 of the job done. Right folks, a bit of chuck in chuck action. Let's see if we can just get a centre. Now, I think this is chrome plated, it's aluminium, but it's cutting, it's alright. It might just be anodised. Chrome plated aluminium can be very hard on the surface. I'm going to have to be very gentle with this, otherwise it's going to slip. And of course, I can't bore the it's a 6mm thread. It's a 6mm by 1 thread, so it's a 5mm tapping grid, which I won't be able to bore with because I'm holding the bit I'm going to be boring out. I'm holding it on the bit I'm going to be boring out, so I'm going to have to drill it in the drilling machine, which will probably bring a bit of inaccuracy into it, but never mind. Right, I've got a centre it. There we go. Job done. Job done. And there we go folks, a very gingerly drilled hole and some very gentle tapping out, but it's tapping alright. Really this should have been steel in the first place, it shouldn't have been aluminium, but that's it, we're through. My grandson, the little love, he's a little love actually, was tinkering and unwittingly unscrewed the screw that held the weight, and the weight slid to the bottom of the shaft and sheared off the bolt. But there we go. There we go. Can you see that? Lovely. There we go folks. New thread, Loctited in. Or actually it's industrial super glue, it's not Loctite, but there you go. But it's done the job. Smashing. Right folks, that's the little side project completed, and the little terminals made. So back on with the main project. Right folks, I've got a nice black knob, no comments, and I'm just making a handle on a piece of old printer rod actually. Piece of, I don't know if it's stainless or whether it's just highly polished or chrome, but I'm making a handle out of that. Probably come down there, slight bend, black knob. Don't be disgusting. And that's it. There's our M8 by 125 thread on there. And there we go.
Lovely. Right. Now to judge the length and put a bend in it. Although first I'll measure the length, mark it off, and I'll put another M8 thread on the other end. To the lathe cam, I'm just knocking this down. I've taken 20 off it, I want 50 off it, so I'm taking 10 thou off the diameter, which is a 5 thou cut. That's 30 thou off. Just do a check. $3.15. Yep, we want about another, just another cut. Ready to go. You notice how I'm bending, how I stoop over this lathe. This is where an extra couple of inches in the air would do really well. Machine Nut Dell was telling me that he has his Holbrook on 2 pieces of 4x4 timber, and he said it makes a huge difference to his back, because he was a bricklayer and all his life, and he doesn't like bending over. And I know exactly what he means, because laying those first courses in the bottom of that trench is an absolute pig. But there you go. And here we go for another thread. I could have started this on the lathe, couldn't I? With a chuck, to make sure I was going on straight. But I didn't, because I'm sloppy. That's it, folks. One M8 thread. There we go, folks. That'll be the off position. That'll be the on position. Nice handle. Right, I'm just going to saw this off here now and drill and tap. I should have done it before I welded the piece on the end, of course, but I can do it. I'll bodge it. Well, that's it for this week, folks. I've got the hole tapped in the end and it cut off to the right length, but time has beat me, so now it's time for a quick tidy up and go home, because I live there. So thank you all for watching. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Give me a watch, give me a like, give me a comment, tell me what you think, and I'll see you all again next week. Bye now.